Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, PA. Excited to be here on this episode today because we are introducing our newest sponsors, and I won't tell you who it is yet. Let's give you a couple updates on what's been going on with us. So we just had our first Ladies of Leadership virtual online event called Radiance, and it was an absolute hit. And I'm super excited to also be launching the dates for our 2024 Empower to Inspire tour. So if you need any and all information on what's going on with BALM Global, you definitely want to hit up our website at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com, which you'll also get information on our partners and sponsors and everything that we are doing. And you can connect with us on Facebook, Nikki Cuesta, and that's NICKYCUESTA, as you see on the screen. But I'm super excited to introduce to you again our new sponsors from Breathe Capital Planning, who has been just absolutely amazing, just connecting with them. And one of our guests has been on our show, but we will reintroduce her, and that is the lovely Julia Laughlin Hares, and she's a co-founder of Breathe Capital Planning LLC, located in Rochester, New York, and operating in multiple states in the U.S. She's a catalyst of change and asking the question of why not now and why not you. An involved mom who adores her son, her one and only son, and inspires and encourages him on his own path to entrepreneurism. As an inspired motivational speaker and presenter focused on sharing more love and kindness in the world through sharing stories of overcoming, an inspiring writer of her life story of becoming who you always thought you could never be, a spirit-led financial advisor that focuses on connecting to what resonates for her clients. A nurturing businesswoman who values and cultivates lifelong relationships with her clients and friends. An inspiring baker that has learned to integrate healthier ingredients. Again, that is Julie Laughlin Hares, and also co-founder Noah Ferenbach. He's the co-founder also of Breathe Capital Planning, and an inspiring thought leader. Noah is driven by the how of life, fostering authenticity, intention, and connection through relationships. An avid father who admires the youthfulness of his high school age children and continually supports a conscious and curious mindset. 4 children plus 3 bonus children, chaos on most mundane days. I love that. An insightful storyteller and speaker, Noah enjoys sharing reflections of his own experience in a playful way. He's known for creating an open atmosphere while bolstering self-awareness for personal growth. A distinctive writer who, sculpting of language and insightful connections, aim to inspire new perspectives. A passionate football enthusiast, from former player to forever coach and spectator, his time on the gridiron has been and will continue to be a platform he learns and expands with. An instinctual and data-driven financial advisor, meeting recommendations at the intersections of human behavior, sound analysis, and personal intention. A creative disguised as a business consultant who masterfully explores business needs, placing them into an organized delivery and process. Wow, we have 2 amazing individuals, and I am just so happy that they have seen the vision of BALM Global and has joined me on this journey and are our newest sponsors, Breathe Capital Planning. Let's get Julie and Noah on here. Great morning. How are you?
Hey, Nikki.
Hey,
So
thanks
good
for
to see
having
you
us.
today. Yeah,
Great
thank
to
you.
see you guys today. You're absolutely welcome. It is my pleasure to officially inaugurate you to the BALM Global family. And we are so happy to have you guys here today to share your experiences, your path to getting to where you're at today, and just so much value that you can add to small business owners and personal finances, because that's kind of where most business leaders struggle in. And I just want to know a little bit of your story, and then we'll dive right into all of that. So, Julie, just share a little bit about where you're from and, what got you to really get the passion to want to help people financially.
Awesome. Thanks, Nikki. So I was born and raised in Rochester, New York, and on the east side, a little suburb called Victor. Um, Grew up here my whole life, and prior to getting into the financial planning side of life that I'm now in with Noah and the business that we co-founded, I had traveled all over the country working with business owners, large scale business owners on succession planning and what's the next generation look like for the business, leveling up inside businesses. So that was some of the work that I was doing. And I was traveling, extensively. And as a single parent, that started to get really hard. In fact, Nikki, on the day that I had to get on a plane on my son's 7th birthday, my father turned to me and he's like, "This is really tough. I think you might want to rethink, what you're doing and how you're operating. Your mom and I are really proud of you and all you've accomplished. And I know you are topping your game of what you do, but I think it might be a time for a change." And Nikki, those words rang in my ear all the way to Texas. And I'm like, how could I leverage my skills and ability? What are some things that I could do? I'm currently working with business owners on maximizing their financials. Maybe there's something to this. And this really created an awakening in me. I flew home that weekend, and as luck would have it, I ran into my childhood best friend who we were like idiots in the grocery store, out jumping up and down, so excited to see each other. And I kind of went on a 2-year journey with her. She and I reconnected that weekend, and she shared with me that she was incredibly sick with cancer, unfortunately, Nikki. And she pushed me. Unfortunately, my friend didn't make it through that battle. But I'll tell you, I'm grateful for her today as I sit here with both of you guys, because she challenged me and she said, "You know what? You're not happy. You're traveling. You're not getting to spend the time that you want with your son. It's time to make a change. Why don't you start your own business?" And that's what kind of put me on the journey that allowed me to connect with Noah. And Noah, I'm going to have you jump in and kind of just bring the audience up to speed of where you started, and then we'll talk about how we merged together. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that'd be great. So I, in a similar fashion, started in another career. Came up through college, but and grew up just actually south of Victor, probably 15 minutes or so on the east side of Canandaigua. And from there, went to college, played football, and really my goal was to aspire to become an NFL football player. If you couldn't tell through the introduction, um, unfortunately, I just wasn't quite fast enough, and fell back into my undergrad, which was education, and went into that career path and taught for a number of years. And unfortunately, my brother had unexpectedly passed away. He was a speech teacher. I was in the special ed side, and it opened me up to there's more. And I really felt restricted within the education system, especially on the special ed side. Every word was managed, every message was very detailed, and there was so much limiting what I thought was possible in that system that I needed to break free. And connected with a friend, and really went on this. It was about a 3 to 4 year journey for me to finally pull the trigger into the financial system, but finally did, and came up through a few different proprietary companies on that side. Really learned how to, if you will, sell in not just the financial space but the insurance space, and just getting my feet wet coming from education into a sales culture. So eventually I moved into a place where Julie and I connected, um, and it was really insightful right off. I mean, one of our very first conversations, she walked into my office and just dropped a little nugget, and I just kind of looked at her and my jaw hit the floor, and I'm like, "I love you. I'm not really sure how this is going to work out, but we've got to start doing some work together." And
Yeah.
since then, I mean, that was 2018, so about 5 years ago now,
Yeah.
that we had that initial conversation. And since then, we have just been building and refining a joint practice together. And then eventually, again, at the very beginning of last year, we started our business.
Yeah.
Wow. First of all, I just found out something new that we all three share. And is that we had someone really, really close to us and we lost them right before the turn of our journeys. I too
Yeah.
lost my brother to an accidental overdose in 2018. And I was, at the time, I was a realtor. And when I lost them, I just didn't know how to move forward. It was just really hard to really decide if, if I should just stay comfortable where I was at or if I really needed to get out. And uh, after thinking about it for some time, and he knew that I was on this journey. So I thought, he would never want me to just stand still and not do anything and not change the world and raise awareness and motivate and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for
Yep.
sharing that's a huge connection that we have. I didn't even know that. I mean, I knew Julie's story, but thank you, Noah, for sharing that. And it's hard. It's a tough time to really kind of be out there and really take ownership of your life when you go through such a loss. So, and you also talked about leveraging your expertise, Julie. You did say that, like, how can I really think about what I have done in my lifetime that can really help me or set myself apart from others to really create something. And yourself, Noah, you did too. Um, so thank you for sharing that, because that's important, because sometimes we think we're just stuck and there's no other opportunities. So I do have a question for you, Noah. What was the mindset when you discovered that football was not going to be the end all? How was that feeling, and how was your mindset
Yeah.
in that? Because I'm a huge football fan.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a place where I think I really learned what ego was, because football had been my identity. I was very much an athlete. That's what I was known for. I grew up in a small town, so if you could throw a rock halfway down your 50-foot driveway, like, you were an athlete. Like, it didn't matter if you could run or jump or do anything else. So, it was just one of those where when you come up and you have people that look up to you as an athlete. And I was fortunate enough to play at a local college where I had a lot of support. Even from back home, it was about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get there. And people would support that, and I'd get messages and I'd get notes and I'd get things. So I always had a very, very positive experience through sports and was lucky enough to excel and become an All-American in college. And then, when you leave that and there is no next level, there is no, I played indoor for a few years, but when it was finally like, what, I had my second daughter was born, and we were going to go into a league that was only going to pay us a couple $100s a week to play. And it's like, I can't make a living doing what I always thought I was going to do. And when it finally hit me, like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
Mhm.
physically I'm more than capable, if not in my prime, and mentally and emotionally I'm ready to do it, but financially I can't support, so my responsibilities changed. And it got me thinking, through that, what's more important than my identity? And it was, well, I'm now a dad. My identity is actually shifting. And I'm a husband, and I have responsibilities that are far greater than my own, desires.
Mhm.
And it really shook me. Like, it shook me for quite a while. And when I finally made the jump into the financial world, I will tell you, it felt like I had found football all over again. I was so excited to have the freedom to run and have the freedom to jump and to make my own decisions and to have some more control, where the educational system really tells you what you can and can't do. And in this space, it's like, yes, you're regulated, right? You've got to play within the rules of being a good human being. But I got
Yes.
to run my business the way that I wanted to. And I got to wake up when I wanted to and go to bed when I wanted to and work if I wanted to through lunch. So it was a much needed shock. It was depressing. It brought with it a lot of uncertainty, which I think is one of the hardest things that we could ever deal with as humans. But it spawned so much positive things in my life after the fact that I'm grateful for the decision.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations that you were able to find the answers at some point, right? To really
Yeah.
shift it and get yourself out of that. Because there's so many times where we can just stay stuck and just not do anything and just accept what life has thrown at us and not move forward or find the answers again that we're looking for. Thank you so much for that answer. And I love that you kind of had a reality check about your ego, right? And you know what that was meant, but also again, decisions that we made as being parents at the time, right? To really kind of find what that life decision is going to be moving forward. And you know, there's answers everywhere all around us. You have to just go out and find them. So thank you
Mhm.
for that response, Noah. Super awesome to get to know you more. And I look forward to like a lifelong connection. And so super excited. Julie, share with us that your side of that connection when he told you what he told you, and how did you feel? Did you what was your response, and how did you guys move forward from there?
I was like, I just knew when I met Noah, like that it's going to sound hokey, but that I was meant to meet Noah. And I was actually meant to meet him in the time that I met him because I was ready for like a business partner. You know, up until that point, Nikki, I'd been very independent and very like my own little like business within myself, right? I was kind of the hired gun, if you will, for many companies. Like people hired me to shake it up, make change, help people get unstuck. Like there's a lot of reasons that I got involved with different companies as a consultant. But when I met Noah and when we started doing work together, I saw an incredible opportunity for a yin and a yang and a different perspective for people. And that I saw people kind of get unlocked and open to different opportunities because we come at things from a very different kind of like perspective. Um, I'm kind of like very touchy feely, very, more emotional, more like a lot of passion. It's just like, who I am. Noah is very grounded. He's very analytical. He really understands things on a deep level. So it's a really cool experience, I think, for clients, especially for business clients that are kind of struggling with things and trying to like overcome certain things. It brings a fresh perspective. Um, my perspective coming into this business from outside was we need to talk about people's money mindset because we could be the greatest financial advisors walking the planet, but if we don't address where people are coming from, what they really think about money, how they've operated, these relationships that might, let's be honest, they may have become a little bit dysfunctional. If we can't correct that and really address that, we haven't done them the service that they really need. So really, Noah and I have integrated that very much so into our planning. Our planning is also driven by analytics as well. Like the numbers don't lie, right? So it's a combination of both of these disciplines, Nikki, that I think brings a really rich experience to our clients.
That's awesome. And where did the name come from? Anyone can
Noah,
answer.
Noah.
Yeah, look, we explored a lot of things, and there's a lot of name in the meaning. We threw that up. I believe on our website is up there a little bit. But the original piece that what Julie and I realized is this business isn't ours. Like, yes, we're the co-founders, but our goal is to evolve this, right? And to bring some other really aligned individuals into our practice to allow that to continue to build and expand, or maybe be in different locations with the same model. And if we put, Julie and Noah Financial on the tag, again, that goes back to my issues with football, right? I identified as a football player. If I identified as this as my business, right? Who else was going to want to be a part of it? So there was a lot of intention put into it not being named us. And then the exploration of what the heck are we going to name it then? And at the time, I was pretty deep into breath work and learning how to breathe. And part of that process is understanding how people currently breathe. And there's a lot of research that says about 9 out of 10 of us, even though we've been doing it our entire life, 9 out of 10 of us breathe very inefficiently and ineffectively. So if 9 out of 10 of us are doing it wrong naturally, right? It goes to show that a little bit of a mentorship, a little bit of coaching, a little bit of accountability, and we can probably improve our breathing significantly. So we took that same and transitioned it over into our company with Breathe, and then capital is synonymous with value, and we're very values based and values driven, both financially and from a moral standpoint. And planning is exactly what we do, right? A plan isn't just an analysis. You need steps to take and action to take. So that process for us was, it all kind of made sense at the end of the day where Breathe Capital Planning came from. But we knew what we didn't want it to be, and then we had to go on that journey to figure out what it was going to become. So
It took
hopefully
some
that helps.
time.
I'm
And
sure.
when we said the name, we were both like, yes. We were both like an instant yes, but to actually kind of curate and cultivate the website, the look, the feel, because you have two very different but similar people here. It took time. It took time. And I'm glad that we took the time with it that we did, Nikki, because now it represents us, I think, more fully than it would have if we would have rushed it.
Absolutely. It's so important to brand yourself in a way where it has that meaning, that authentic meaning of why you guys do what you do, and the value. And thank for also sharing the breathing, that we do breathe inefficiently, and sometimes we have to be more aware of that, because that can actually relieve stress, it can relieve depression, anxiety, and all that good stuff. And that's important. And when we talk about money, that's what we get: anxiety, depression, and knowing and putting something in place to kind of understand. And I did this one activity in one of my groups where we actually wrote a letter to money and told money like how we felt, how we need you, what we can do with you. It was a pretty interesting um assignment to do, and I actually share it with you guys offline, because we're working together, so it's been absolutely amazing. And it's just so true. So thank you guys for taking the time to really strategically plan it out, because that's important. I didn't know that this podcast was going to be the name of just a YouTube channel that I wanted to do, just to motivate people. Sometimes you never know how it just falls into place, and when instantly, that's a keeper, right? So thank you guys so much for the top of our interview here. We're going to go into a brief commercial break and listen to one of our sponsors, and we are then going to come back and dive more deep into what financial planning should look like. All right, 1 second here.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Well, hello, everyone. We are back with our sponsors, Breathe Capital Planning, Julie and Noah, and we have been diving deep into who they are, what they do. And I just want to go to one of let me also just put in your website right there. And let me also go into something that you have on your website, which really stood out to me when I first seen it, was truth discovery planning process. That word truth with our financials sometimes don't go together. So who can tell me like where that comes from and why it's so important to just be truthful with your finances so that you can get to your true destiny of how you want to handle money?
Yeah, so
No, I'm going to let you take that.
I was going to say, I can tell you where I was when we started having the conversation, and it was a message that I had sent to Julie. And I had woken up in the morning, and it was about different questions. Just anytime we grow, right? Like I was looking at it from a father figure, right? That was, a dad that would talk to me. and he would just ask me questions. And then as I evolved, I had a mentor that told me, quit pretending you don't already know the right answer. Right? Like, you don't need to ask me. Quit pretending you don't already know the right answer. So the reality is truth is within us. And it's our job as financial advisors to figure out how to pull it out. And what we used to do is we used to ask people misleading questions like, when do you want to retire? Right? 99% of, and I dare say 99.999, 100% of sub 30-year-olds have no idea when they want to retire. They don't understand the concept of what it's going to be like when they're 65. Right? And even when I talk to 60-year-olds and we talk to those people, we have these questions, and we used to mislead them with asking questions that we just assumed we were supposed to be asking. And I remember I was on the edge of my bed and I'm sitting there and I'm texting frantically to Julie all these questions, and I'm like, Julie, we've got to ask different questions. And then I sent it to her. I'm like, what do you think about these? And I just sent them to her, and she responded. She's like, we're integrating it today, and we're only going to use these ones, not those ones. Like, these are the ones. And then we refined those a little bit more just in conversation. And that became the essence. We threw out our entire first meeting all together. And we realized if we quit misleading people with the questions that we were asking, and we actually found their truth in that first meeting, holy cow, we could be dangerous. Right? She's too tactical. She knows how to do so much from her background. And I came from the educational side, which is like, let me teach you the far left and let me teach you the far right. And then we'll let you make the decision because now you're educated. So if I can make you educated or support your process of feeling really informed, and Julie can then make you take action, right, and support a tactical plan, holy cow, now we are dangerous. Now we can go execute. Now we can go move forward. Now we can give client the opportunity to take ownership. And at the end of the day, that's really what we try and do. That's our last rung, if you will, that we try and transfer to people is ownership, right? It's our knowledge, it's our education, it's our experience, but it's your life. So that truth discovery spawned drastically from like, holy cow, we're just asking the wrong questions. And Julie really was like, we can't ask people that question. That's terrible, right? and helped us refine it down to a couple, more astute, more focused questions with a very good kind of hierarchy of bigger picture into the narrow, and really dissecting people off the get-go.
Yeah, that's so true that sometimes we're taught, like, when we go into our specific professions, we're taught exactly like what you should be doing. But when you're not seeing results and you can identify like, what else can I do to make this process better or actually get true results? And that's what you guys did. You guys took those steps to really make it what it is. So tell me just a few of those questions. Give me a question that, and Julie, you can answer this. What were you asking first that you kind of transition? Like what the differences are? Just give me like 2 or 3 examples.
I'll give you a very direct example. Like, what is your goal would be an old question that we would have, right? Like, what is your goal? Now it's like, I would ask you a question like, hey, Nikki, what is your definition of money? Like, how do you feel about money? Like, how are you connected to it? Tell me about your history with it. Tell me about what's worked and what hasn't. How do you feel about it? Where does it resonate with inside of you in your body right now? Tell me when I say that, where does it connect with you? So it's a combination. It's really kind of getting away from those like very top line, very kind of generic questions, and it's really drilling down. We like to really have a deeper understanding. And the reason that I explain it kind of like on a top level, and Noah will do like a little bit more depth, but for me, and I kind of prepare people and I tell them, I'm going to ask you some very direct questions, and they're going to be questions you may have to think about. They're not complicated. They're actually really simple, and there's only 4 of them, but they will stop and make you think. And I need you to just bring your entire truth, and just know that we're not going to judge you for anything that you say. And this is confidential between us and you. And by us understanding kind of like your perspective and where you're coming from, it's the lens by which we can see your plan. And as we're making recommendations, it'll help us help you make recommendations that not only will change your perspective, but in change like where you keep getting stuck, but it'll unlock that door that may keep getting closed on you when it comes to your financial life. And that, my friend, is the truth. Like, we need to get to the bottom line. Like, we need to figure out what's going on. People get in these repeating cycles, Nikki, and it breaks my heart. Like, I hate to see it, because once you kind of get to the core of why is that happening, then you can address it. You know, it's like anything. Until you really face it, until you accept it and face it, you're not going to change it. So we kind of mirror the self-discovery process. The human evolution process is embedded inside of our own process that we've curated.
And I think I can truly attest that when you asked me those questions, I was like, wow, this is a different vantage point.
Who are these people?
No, not at all. I'm like, where have these people been all my life, right? Yeah. And that's the true, honest truth, because it really had me thinking, like, I've done it before. I've cleaned some stuff up, you know, and I gotten better. And then I kind of look at it now and I'm like, okay, what can I do better? How can I make this really work? So when I was asked those questions, I'm like, wow, this is a whole different viewpoint. And I just loved it. It felt welcoming. It felt like what you're doing is that you really care about, you know, getting to the core of what it is and just making it happen. So I'm looking forward to just, again, just an array of abundance with you guys when we're going through this process, as well as sharing your vision, because I think people need this. They absolutely need it. And they might not be at the best place, but they might be in a good place, but they can be better as well. So I feel like what you guys have is not just for those that are struggling, it's those that just want to have it, you know, more in place and go in depth to what the potentials are with like savings and growing and scaling and all that good stuff.
Can I jump in real quick there?
Absolutely.
Right? Because you have said something a couple times about being stuck. And what Julie and I learned is that there is a natural cycle to life. Everything goes in cycles, right? So when we're stuck, what we've interpreted that as, we keep repeating very similar cycles from the same platform, right? So when Julie and I ask those questions, and we can pick out a few things that we can work on, and then we can give you a direction to move in, it picks you up, it raises your platform. We're still going to go through those cycles. You're still going to have some highs, you're still going to have some lows, but that cycle is starting from a higher level, a higher platform that feels like you're gaining and building momentum, right? It's like if you were to jump, you're jumping from a higher point. You've got more energy now. And what we realized, if there's a fear that you have in your life and we can help you solve that fear, it clears out all the fear that's on that same kind of energy wavelength, right? So we can end up watching people conquer one fear and then eliminate 10 of them that were right in front of them because they have a better perspective of it. And it's one of those where all of a sudden we start getting these kind of quantum gains in people's perspective and mindsets. And to Julie's point, by focusing through that mindset, the financial intricacies is like, I love the puzzle pieces. I will build you the coolest puzzle ever that is designed just for our client. And then as your mindset expands and can see it all, right? It's so easy to start laying the pieces down and stepping and raising that platform that you're working from. So when people feel stuck, we figure out what you're stuck, we work through it, and then we watch people raise up a level, right? And they're going to go through the same cycle. And that's why we work in a process that's very cyclical and it's ongoing, right? We may work through a year's financial plan in 6 months and that's great. Let's expand into the next one, right? Let's evolve. So we've learned to create a process, and that truth discovery process is a way of working through life. It's not here's your financial plan for the next 12 months. It's learning a process to go on this journey with. And it's a very empowering journey. It's one that allows you to gain and grow confidence. It's one that allows you to heal and truly level up mindset perspective with two financial advisors that have been through a lot of life so far. We're continuing to go through life. I will tell you, with 4 teenage girls in my house, it's madness, right? So I'm learning that phase, but I haven't set one to college yet, right? That's next year. And I'm going to learn and I'm going to evolve. And I have mentors that lead me. And as I learn, right, we get to directly pass that on to a clientele to watch those cycles. Ideally, we can continue to raise each one of our clients' cycle platform that they're operating from. And that for us is just like, it's so much fun when you see a client's perspective. All of a sudden they're like, guys, I get it. I see it. I know you told me this in the first whole, you've been telling me this all along, and it just clicks, and it's like, yes, like it gives me the goosebumps right now just thinking about it. So that being stuck, that we're in a cycle, there are ways to work through it. We joke about we're the entry point. We use the financial platform as an entry point, but we want to work with the full human, right? Just like a homeopathic doctor, right, comes in, they want to talk to you about, solving any issues that you have, but really they want to make sure you're eating right, and they want to make sure you're resting appropriately, and make sure that you're doing all the other things. So their platform is the medical doctor, phase, but really they're doing everything. So when we combine a lot of really good experts around a human, right, someone that looks at it from a financial and a medical and all these different, expertise platforms, we've got a really cool group of people we like to share with our clients. It just becomes a very powerful ongoing experience and a journey that people love to be on versus what they've been doing, which is usually not having a lot of intention.
Absolutely. I love that true transparency and that holistic approach to getting to know the whole being, and not just their financials, right? Not just the numbers. It's about everything that led up to the situation that they're in until they get out of that situation. And then also make sure that they're equipped to undertake it for the rest of their lives, right? So
100%.
that they're prepared. I love that approach.
We do do ongoing relationships with, I would say, 95% of our clients. So, the first year is the most labor intensive, right? You're experiencing it, all the document collection, all the stuff to set the framework, to set the plan, to do the analysis, to do all the framework, and then lay the plan out, and then implement the plan is another whole phase, right? The implementation. And then as we're implementing, your life is going to change. All of our lives are going to change in the next 6 months, 12 months, right? So as you go through into year 2, what are we doing? So, having us, and someone just recently was like, oh my gosh, where have you been my whole life? Literally 2 days ago. Because they're like, I sometimes call it financial concierge, because it really is what it is. Sometimes we'll have people, Nikki, just message us and say, hey, can you get on a quick phone call? Buying another car, buying a second property, expanding their business, so many questions, and they just want to touch base. Here's what I'm thinking about. We walk through this with them, and because we know them so well, we can check the logical thought process. We can also check if this is an ego-driven decision, if this is really what they want. These are things, because we do this level of detailed connection with our client, we have a totally different perspective than other people in our space. For sure.
Julie has a great feeling for what a client needs. And I think it was maybe something that you had learned at your, at Berkshire prior, or in that space prior. But when we implement with a client, we custom build a service plan to support them. So if someone needs education in a certain area, we build in a curriculum over the year to educate them in that area. And what you may not want to be educated, Nikki, like somebody else wants to be educated, right? So there's different styles to educate, and then what you learn may not be relevant to what somebody else needs to learn or wants to learn. So we've really found a platform within the service model to just custom build it in and be as proactive as we can. If someone's like, I just don't understand taxes, we're not CPAs. We can't give you CPA advice, right? Legal advice. but we can educate you around how things work and how the system works and what ways, Julie and I work around as a business owner to help avoid some taxation. And then other areas where, tax us because we need it. We need lending to grow and we need this. We need to earn some income to do those things. So there's such an integration between the planning side, and then as Julie said, the second phase is the implementation side. Like there's a full service concierge. Call us when you're ready to grow. Call us when you're stuck here. Call us when you're with your attorney, right? And we've built a model that can support that.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys really have really looked at every puzzle piece, just like Noah said earlier, that really will help that success plan, whatever that plan looks like for that person. And I can truly appreciate that because again, I haven't spoken with many other people that deal with this financial space, but from hearing people tell me like, I have a financial advisor, but they're not like so hands-on. It's just like, okay, give me your numbers. This is the plan, figure it out. And I feel like you guys have really looked at the bigger picture. And that's really what it's all about when we're building any business, is to always look at the overall picture and not just see it as a transactional service. And you also talked about, Noah, you also talked about mentoring. How important is it for even the people that you work with? Obviously, you become their mentors for however long they have you in their space. But if they're like in a business and how to grow their business, because if they're not receiving the income that they need to even adapt to whatever plan they're putting together, how important is it for people to have a coach, period?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how people do it without it. I'm actually not. And I think the term coach can be misdefined. I think if you could, and I don't know the right terminology. I can't spew it at you, unfortunately. But I think have someone that you look up to that will tell you the truth, and they will give you their honest knowledge. And Julie and I learned this through trying to raise kids, right? We learn to understand, right? And a lot of teenagers have learned and they think they understand, right? Or they think they know everything. But what they do is they started to understand it, but they haven't done anything yet, right? So we learn to understand, but we have to do in order to know.
Oh my
God. Teenagers are like,
true.
I'm 15. I studied. I know how to drive because I've studied. No, you don't. You understand how to drive, but you have no idea how to do it yet, right?
Yep.
So we learn to understand, but we do in order to know. So I love finding people that know. If you want to get mentored by somebody to learn how to grow a business, get mentored by somebody who's grown a business before, and maybe not one, but ideally 5, 10, or 15 of them, because they're going to have a diversity of knowledge. So we feel super knowledgeable in the financial space because we've been doing it for a decade, right? And we've had a lot of different interactions. We've come at it from different angles numerous times until we've kind of formed this one. And we've evolved this one even in 4 years. It's evolved tremendously in that time period. And I hope it continues to. But to where we're talking about coaches, be mentored by someone who knows, not by someone who just understands, right? Because they Googled something and they can relay it to you. Get mentored by someone who knows.
Yep. Been in the trenches, right? I love that answer. Thank you so much, Noah. So let us and our viewers know what's next. Like, what are the steps to what you guys offer and how people can get a hold of you guys?
There's a few ways you can get a hold of us. We have our Calendly link right on our website. And for all of your listeners, Nikki, because it's you and because we are so excited about being a part of BALM Global, we do offer a complimentary 30-minute consult with Noah and I. If you just have a question, you just want us to talk to you about the question, just simply schedule a 30-minute, introductory appointment. If you would like to engage and really learn more about what this process looks like and how we work with our clients, again, schedule a 30-minute intro. We would love to do that and just share with you the information of how we actually work with clients. You know, there's two major categories that I think Noah and I really excel in. One is personal financial plans for business owners. Let's face it, as business owners, we really don't have the time to have our personal plan organized. Our business might be very organized and cranking and doing very well, but oftentimes the personal plan gets put on the back burner. We want to make sure that our business owners, our small business owners specifically out here, are as rock solid and as strong as they can be, right? So we really are passionate about that. The other area, and the three of us have talked about it a couple times in this call today, but we haven't really capitalized and really spoken it out. We really do specialize in people that have gone through traumatic loss and divorce. Having gone through divorce, both of us have gone through it, and having gone through incredibly painful traumatic losses as far as losing someone really close to you, either whether it be a spouse, a best friend, a brother, a mother, a father. We know the impact that that has on one's financial situation and even their entire life, let's be honest. So these are two areas that we really excel in and specialize in. And I will tell you, this kind of a second business for us kind of evolved from the first, Nikki, which is always an amazing thing to happen, right? I know you're experiencing that a lot in your own business, but by doing the personal financial planning for business owners, we had a lot of business owners just look at us and be like, the organization and the help that you're giving me here on the personal plan, I really would like to work with you guys on my business. And people knowing that I have the years and years of business consulting and just Noah's style and the way that he executes things has given us an opportunity to work with some really cool business owners on developing and leveling up their plan, whether it's startup, next level, building to an enterprise model. We're helping people do all of these types of things right now. And it's really, really fun. And we love that work. So those are two areas that you can work with us. And also my direct number, I give it out. It's I handle all the incoming traffic for the company. A lot of times Noah's in the background doing a lot of the work and I'm out here doing the fun stuff, but it's 585-703-0245. And Nikki, they can connect with you and you have all of our information. But again, it's www.breathecapitalplanning.com.
And you can also find their information on our website as well. So we will definitely have that connected. It'll be in the show notes and it'll be plastered everywhere because I think what you guys have is truly, truly something that's needed, something that's it's going to be seeked out. And we are just so happy to be in partnership with both of you guys and Breathe Capital Planning so that we can all grow together and just change lives, change our mindset about money and, you know, get our bottom line right, exactly where we want to be so we can live the lifestyle and that abundance life that we're all, you know, promised, you know. And so I also want to give you guys just a minute or two, just like what are your goals? What do you want to leave our audience with if they are in a spot of really kind of deciding to get their financials right or to get an understanding or control of, you know, just their business as a whole. So we'll start with Noah.
Yeah, I can tell you when we do our business planning, we build out quarter by quarter and we evolve quarter by quarter. It's like we do a reset, we take a week, we reset and we refocus, and then we trust our instincts, and whatever we put in place, we run for the next quarter, right? Until we can reassess. Unless there's some drastic red flag that comes up, we make those changes. So quarter by quarter, we do those things. For us, when you just mentioned goals, right? We're consistently trying to refine our process and trying to enhance our what you would call time to value, right? So how long does it take for a client of ours to experience value? And maybe they won't have their end result of say being perfectly, some people love the concept of being debt free. That's a whole nother topic, right? But if you're working towards being debt free, maybe it'll take a year or 2 years, maybe 5 years. So how do we provide value before we get to the end result, right? And there's a lot of things in there. So that's a huge goal of ours right now is providing more value and making it more streamlined or easier for the client in order to accomplish that. Over and above, I will say one of the things that Julie and I have built out is a span of control. And this may sound like a sales pitch, but we aren't a typical financial advisor setup that can handle 2,000-3,000 clients, right? We have a finite number of clients that we can bring on because of the time and the effort and the energy, right? So it's a smaller pool that we can work with based on the fact that it's two of us. We're typically in every meeting together, right? There's occasionally where I'll jump on or she'll jump on, right? There's rare occasions where that happens. But typically we're all in the same meeting. So it's one of those things where we're right on that brink of like, do we start wait lists? Do we start only bringing on people on quarterly things? You know, there's this evolution that we're in right now. So our goal is streamlining our process and realizing that we have a finite number of slots that are available for our clientele. And we can't wait to kind of max that out each and every quarter, if you will, and then evolve from there. So I don't know if that helped. I did want to mention one other thing. Julie said that supporting people through traumatic losses and supporting people through those experiences is one of our primary markets, right? And I will tell you, there's a subset of those people that really evolved from the pandemic that basically just said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. We're ready for change. I can't keep doing it the way that I've always done it. It doesn't feel aligned. It doesn't feel healthy. I need to change. Those have been some of our most favorite clients to work with because they are so ready and they are so urgent and so excited to take action, right? It's like we can feed them as much as they can, as much as we can, because they're ready to, they're just that empty sponge that's ready to soak it all up. So within that ready for change, traumatic loss, that those two markets that we work in, if you're just ready to not be where you are anymore, and you have the ability to maybe set some time aside to do this type of work because it does take time and effort, we're ready for you. We're ready, right? We're set up, we're equipped, we're ready to take action with you. So call us.
Absolutely. And you said something before I go to Julian, before we close out this episode, because it has been amazing, just wonderful gems being dropped. But you said something very, very important that I have kind of signatured for myself. I actually wrote it in my book as well, that 2020 was, first of all, 2020 is perfect vision, right? And in the most uncertain time, everyone had perfect vision in 2020. You only had about 3 choices. You only had a choice to sit down and think that it was going to go away, right? And just keep doing what you're doing. Or you can sit there and complain and still see what's going to happen, right? Or you could actually have taken some action and really make that change in your life. And I now that we're kind of out of the pandemic, there's so little things that kind of, obviously our world is never going to get back to normal. It's changed. We've been seeing things very, very differently. And I think some beautiful things came out of that. Unfortunately, it's sad to say, we've lost people through that journey, but some beautiful things have come out of it. And we need to just be on 2020 vision at all times when it comes to our life, our businesses, our expenses. So thank you, Noah, for pointing that out. I just wanted to reiterate those things because we have a choice. Every day is a new opportunity to make a new decision. And if something's not right, just like Noah said, if you're just tired of being in that same position, it's time to make a change, make a decision, and you have the power to do that. Julie, give us your final thoughts.
So as we look out into 2024, I will, as the company continues to grow, we will be doing more things like retreats that I'm currently working on for our clients. There will be, speaking engagements, across the country. There's just so much to unpack that's actually happening as a result of our business, right? So I just see it being just an incredible time. And, Noah and I are looking for the clients that are the perfect fit for us, as well as us being a really good fit for them. I do see us expanding our offering and adding more people. I know Noah's like almost falling down by me saying that, but we have identified some people that, could potentially be great additions to our team. So that would allow us to expand our span of control as far as number of people that we'd be able to work with. And there's some other things in the works, Nikki, that I can't release yet because we haven't officially laid it all out. But he and I are working on a really exciting project that will be potentially online. So we're excited about that as well. So that's the future. And we get excited about that. Every quarter, he and I have like a intense debrief of how's it going? Like, how's our own business going? So we come out of working in the business and we work on our business for a couple of days. And then, we reset and we go for the quarter. So excited about some of these ideas that Noah and I have had to bring them to fruition.
That is awesome. And just a quick reminder that we are actually going on tour, and Julie and Noah will be taking the stages. We will be in New York, New York. Let me just get this date here. We will be there July 20th of 2024. Website is being updated with all the dates and how to get information. But don't wait until that. I just wanted to let them know that they will be hitting our stages. And Noah, are you out of New York as well?
I am. Yep.
Awesome. So there you guys have it. Mark your calendars as well as all our listeners. But we will be going on tour starting next year, and they will be part of this journey with us. And I'm super excited again to be able to share our vision and you share yours. And we found a perfect match. So I'm super excited that you guys are on board and that we get to highlight you and really showcase this beautiful, amazing thing that you guys are doing. And if you want to connect with them, again, their contact information or their website is scrolling at the bottom. Check it out. Get that free consultation call, even if you just want to have a quick just understanding and go deep dive of what they do, what they can offer. They have been just so awesome in responding, emails, texting, and just being communicating with me like every day. So I absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much for, again, being sponsors of BALM Global and Building a Leadership Mindset podcast, and just being your authentic selves. And I look forward to many, many more great interviews and hitting some stages with you guys as well. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Thank you to our listeners. If you have to watch this on repeat or listen to it on repeat, you can check out Spotify and YouTube on our channels. Make sure to subscribe, comment, like, and connect with our guests, because I bring them on because I know that they have so much to offer to our audience. And thank you guys again. Have a great day. And as I always say, make it count.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome. Thank you, Noah.